Hello my beautiful online babes, welcome back to my bedroom and my channel. Today I'm coming at you super casual in jeans and a t-shirt because I just wanted to sit down and have a little chit chat with you. And today's topic of conversation is, of course, trans related. So today's video is going to be dating tips, what not to say to a trans girl. So I came up with this video idea because I myself have gone on dating apps for the past 5 years since I started my transition. I have tried to date, and you know what? Majority of the guys have nowadays been more respectful, more aware, and more woke in that sense. However, there are still times when people say these things, these phrases that actually may seem like you're complimenting a girl like myself, but in reality, you're actually kind of giving us a backhanded compliment. And again, I don't speak for the mass majority of the trans community. I'm only basing these things off of my personal experience, my own dating experiences, as someone who has put herself out there. And I'm practically reporting back to you guys on my channel. So this is why I wanted to break these things down, so that people can get a better grasp and better understanding as to why we take these phrases a certain way. All right, guys, so I'm going to give you my 5 things not to say to a trans girl if you are in conversation or just starting up a conversation with someone who just happens to be a trans female. Number 1 is, I wouldn't have been able to tell, or I wouldn't have known. I say this because yes, passability is something that a lot of us trans women strive for. However, it is not the ultimatum, and it does not dictate the success of our transition and our journey. Beauty is skin deep. Your appearance is your appearance. That being said, it is not the end all do all for majority of other women. You know, I prioritized wanting to pass. And in turn, sometimes when people comment on my appearance, it's a double-edged sword. So when someone says, I wouldn't have known or I couldn't tell, it's somewhat backhanded because it's almost like you're expecting to see some signal. Like, why are you assuming there's a signifier that a person is trans? Like something that you can clock from a distance. So you may feel like you're offering us a compliment by saying, I couldn't tell, or I couldn't see, I couldn't tell the difference, or I wouldn't have known. But at the end of the day, why would you have known unless we told you? If you are trying to have a conversation with someone trans, never make it about their appearance, never make it about what makes you know that they are their gender, because at the end of the day, they are who they are. You don't have to dissect how you know someone is trans or non-binary or whatever they feel like presenting themselves as. You shouldn't have to acknowledge that. I think what's important is you just take them for who they are. They're right in front of you, and treat them like a human being and have a conversation about other things. Instead, why not just give them a heartfelt compliment about, you know, facing adversity and coming out triumphant? For example, a great compliment would be, I'm happy you're you. I'm glad that you are living your authentic self. I'm glad that you are able to be free to be who you want to be. Like, those are so flattering. If someone mentioned those things to me about my own personal journey, I'd feel so amazed and just so much more valued, because it's not about anything exterior. It's about what I've gone through and the steps that I've taken to be myself and to live the life that I've always wanted. That to me is a true compliment. It's not surface. It is putting value towards that person's experience, lived experience, and life experience. Number 2, when people say you're prettier than real women, or you're prettier than a real woman, that's kind of so backhanded. That's so problematic because you are already not accepting us as women, and that's offensive. I find for myself, I've strived so hard in my life to be seen as equal, to be seen as female, to be known as female, and in that one comment, you're kind of taking that away from me by saying I'm not real. Instead of saying you're prettier than real women, we're real women. Why not just say you look beautiful? Stark contrast in the delivery. You're getting a point across, but you're not offending us. I, Maxine, am a living, breathing woman. In the umbrella of womanhood, biological females, cis females, trans females. I'm a trans female. I'm still real. So for you to knock me down a peg and say you're not real, but try to compliment my appearance, it doesn't come across that way. So just be mindful with what you say, because the reality is we are real women. We just happen to be trans. Number 3, are you pre-op? Are you post-op? Have you gotten the surgery? What do you have down there? So I get this a lot, despite the fact that I've already disclosed my trans status. This is the difficulty with disclosure sometimes, is you've disclosed the fact. It's on your profile, it's on your Instagram account, people know you're trans. And that is a segue for them to ask about your genitals. And it's so offensive, because why do you feel the need to know all of this when I've already disclosed my status as a trans person? Now you want to keep invading my privacy more? And the danger is, if we don't disclose our status, we're called out as being dishonest. We're called out as being not true to everyone around us. We can be easily called out as tricking, which is so false. Sometimes we just want our privacy. So for myself, example, I am very open about my status as being a trans person on social media, online, but in person, I like to keep to myself and not shout it to the rooftops, because it's also a safety thing. Another reason why this comment or question, are you post-op, are you pre-op, what do you have down there? Some trans people like myself don't think about wanting to undergo sexual reassignment. Some trans people are not ready or even know whether they want to tackle sexual reassignment. So you're bringing up a lot of insecurities just with that statement. Also, it's very rude to poke and prod when it's none of your business. The only time this becomes your business is if you have a strong enough connection where the conversation steers into the trans person opening up to you about their struggles, their experience, and yes, their journey down there. Otherwise, it's none of your business. It's really not your place to try and figure this out, because again, if you're not going to be intimate with the person, why does it matter to you? If the trans person, like myself, is comfortable in sharing my journey with you and letting you know what's up, why it's important for me to tell you, so on and so forth, then that's when you get the information. Otherwise, it's not any of your area to ask and inquire about, because who the hell are you? Unless you have a strong enough connection that the conversation steers in that direction, sure. But if you don't, F right off. It's not for you to find out, and don't ask about it. If you're there to date, if you're there to really get to know a person and they just happen to be trans, get to know them as a person. However, if you're trying to dissect the person based on what genitals they have, then you're just a chaser. And if you don't know what a chaser is, please, by all means, Google. Otherwise, leave me a comment and I can delve into that other world of headaches. I understand sexual preference is a very important thing when it boils down to relationships or your interest in a person. That being said, are you interested in the person at that point? If it's a yes or no based on what's down there, or are you deciding if you like the person or not based on what is down there? Is it a sexual preference, or are you just chasing a fetish? Because you may not think you're being offensive. You may play the sexual preference card, but are you just relegating us to our genitals? I'm not asking about your junk. Why should you ask about mine immediately? Unless we've already established a strong enough connection or a casual connection where we do want to go get busy. Sure, set the boundaries, set the conversation. But if it's uncalled for, you should know better not to ask that. Number 4, this is very common. I encounter this all the time in cis, hetero, straight type dating apps. And it's I'm curious. I've never been with a trans girl, or I'm curious to try. I'm curious to find out. And you know what? You may seem like it's a fair statement to bring up and say to us. But what you're doing now is you're relegating us to nothing but an experience to you. You're relegating us, people, as just a tool for you to figure out whether you like us, you like trans people in general. You're using us as a tool to experiment. It's already in the statement. I'm curious, I want to know, I want to try. I'm not a sample. I'm not a sample at Sephora just that you take home and figure out whether, you know, you want to repurchase. No, sweetie, we are human beings. We're all human beings. We deserve respect and value as much as the next girl, the next girl, the next guy. Trans people, trans women, myself included, I did not endure years of turmoil to live my true life, to live my true authentic self, only for a man to lessen my existence just for him to figure out what he wants. That's not my role in your story, in this world. I am not to be lessened as like a sample piece. No, sweetie. I think this attitude needs to stop. That you need to try us to find out. If you want to be with someone, if you like someone, if there's a spark, I think that should be enough. But if you're relegating us to be some fetish that you want to test out, then you're turning into a chaser. You're turning into some fetish chaser. You're just using trans people as practically a kink, which we're not. This is why I'm making this video, so that you guys know that we're more than that, and just a little respect, guys. Come on. Number 5 is, do you have any friends like you? Do you have other girlfriends? You know, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but this question that's asked to me, it's like, why? You expect me to just have a gaggle of trans girlfriends that I'm willing to give to you? What am I, some like wrangler, like trans girl wrangler, where I have a lot of girlfriends that because you're not into me or I'm not into you, you have a second, third, fourth choice? That's not how this works. That's so offensive to be like, do you have friends? Do you have friends like you? Like, I don't know you, sir, number 1. 2, you're already asking about other people. You're sleazy. 3, as if I did have trans girlfriends, which I do, I would 0% not talk you up or even try to link you up with them, because you are acting like a fool already. So the audacity. Ew, David. Ew. Yeah, don't fucking ask a girl if she has friends like her. So offensive, so gross. Like, have some tact. We don't deserve some of the antics and verbal abuse we get online and in person. It's not nice. For some of you, this is new information that you need to process. And by all means, process. At the end of the day, now that you know that it can offend someone trans, that it can offend women like myself. Alright guys, that was extra chatty of me. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed me sharing some things about my experience as a trans woman and things I can do to help my community, please comment down below. I want to know if this is something that you want to be watching, you want to be seeing. Please subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later on if you don't feel me. Whatevs. But if you do, stay. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and OnlyFans. Yes, you heard that right. I have an OnlyFans. Links are all below. I will see you in the next video. I love you all. Thanks for all your support, and stay positive, stay kind, be good to people. Mwah.